years ago, we were living in Colorado, and the city had an Easter Saturday celebration where children would come to this little downtown park. And they had kind of sections sorted off, right? Cordoned off for different age groups. The 2 to 4 group here, the 3 to 5 group here, the 5+ kind of in the middle. Now, I don't know what they expected to happen, but hundreds of children showed up for space that was basically the size of the sanctuary. All the children are lined up around the perimeter, and all the parents are behind them, and we're all holding coffee knowing this is just going to be an absolute disaster. Something the organizers apparently never saw coming. Well, instead of sending the children off in groups, right, 2 to 4 first, then 3 to 5, then all the big kids, the organizers just said, go. And hundreds of kids went running. Big kids in the little kids section. Little kids just randomly wandering about. Kids lost from their parents crying. Kids crying because they were shoved down or pushed aside. Parents trying to keep tabs on their kids in a sea of children. Eggs thrown here and crushed there. Parents mad at older children taking eggs out of the baskets of younger children. Some parents trying to direct their kids, no, go to this age group. Eggs are located for you here. Coffee was forgotten and left behind as we tried to survive the melee. It was chaos. Absolutely uncontrollable chaos. And in the midst of it, we lost sight of Nora in a sea of kids. We couldn't find her. So now we're in like full-on parent panic mode, and I'm getting ready just to start tossing kids to find my daughter. Where was she? How do you respond to chaos? Do you join in the screaming and the crying? Do you try to help manage the chaos with order? Or are you like Nora? Do you just kind of disappear? Easter is the highest, holiest day we have as Christians. It's the day when the world changed, when death was overcome, when hell was destroyed, when sin lost its hold on us. Easter is what it's all about in Christian holidays, and yet it's focused on things other than the resurrection. Easter bunnies, Easter candy, Easter discounts on rugs and couches. We lose sight of the holy within the chaos. We lose the holy when we're focused on the material. We lose the holy when we try to control life. How do we find the holy when it feels like it's spiraling out of control? Well, the chaos did not begin with Jesus' death for those disciples. It actually started earlier with Judas' betrayal of Jesus. And it continued when Peter's denying Jesus, and then finally we come to that day of his death. And I imagine all that chaos is kind of with the disciples as they're gathered back in that upper room, shocked and distraught. But the chaos isn't over. Because on Sunday, Mary's going to come back with this wild tale. The stone has been rolled away. His body is missing. And Mary is so blinded by the chaos she's experienced, she doesn't even recognize Jesus as he walks and talks with her. Peter was so focused on chaos that he missed what Jesus told them about the resurrection. Judas was so focused on the way everything was falling apart that he missed the love of God for him in the chaos of destruction. Do you feel like there is more chaos in our world? Wildfires in the West, wildfires in our own backyard, political conflict, civil discord, peaceful protests, violence manipulating protests into something else, a virus that is creating havoc in the way we live our lives, schools that are only in session a few days a week. The disciples experienced chaos now and then. Disciples then experienced a land held hostage by an invader and merciless ruler. Rome set high taxes and robbed the people. There's this religious conflict boiling over, not just between Jesus and the Sanhedrin, but between all religious groups for control of the temple and the temple money. There's going to be a great fire in Rome that would happen in the 60s, and Emperor Nero will blame the Christians for it. And of course, there was the destruction of Pompeii with the eruption of Mount Vesuvius in 79 AD. The temple will be destroyed in Jerusalem, burned to the ground. All this is happening as this gospel is being written. Life feels unbearable. Life in antiquity has as much chaos as we have now. And then you had the grief and the loss of Jesus and the threat of death to his followers. You had fear to the mix, and the weight on Mary's shoulders becomes heavier. Can you see the love, though, amidst the chaos? For Mary and those women, Easter happened in the chaos, but Mary didn't know that. I mean, she still went. She still did what love does. She got up. She went to the tomb. She tried to prepare his bodies. And though she and the other women didn't know it at the time, they were being loved in the chaos. They were acting out of this deeper sense of love than the events around them warranted. And in so doing, discovered faith when life is harsh and out of control. Around Easter in 1910, Halley's Comet was flying over the earth, and people at that time didn't really understand what it was or what it meant. They were frightened and they were anxious. A child named Howard Thurman, who would grow up to be a confidant of Martin Luther King Jr. and a very important theologian in our world, talks about living in a small town in Florida. And the local store was selling Comet pills to immunize you from the radiation. Well, late one night, Thurman was outside with his mother, looking up at the comet, and he said, "Mama, are we going to die?" "God will take care of us," she said. Later he wrote, "In one glorious moment, my mama put her heart on the ultimate affirmation of the human spirit. Many things have I seen since that night, and I've learned that life is hard. But as the years have unfolded, the power of my mother's words have come back to me again and again. Here are the faith and the awareness that overcome fear and transform that fear into the power to strive and to achieve and not to yield." There may not have been lilies, but Easter still happens. There may not be ham and potatoes, but Easter still happens. We may be headed into winter, not spring, but Easter still happens. This year may smell like the world is burning. Easter still happens. This year may feel like people are out of touch and out of reach. Easter still happens. This year may feel chaotic, uncertain, anxious. Easter still happens. For in Thurman's mother's words, "God will take care of us," lies the faith that gives us the awareness to overcome fear, to find the courage to transform our fear into striving for the world God wants us to create. May we never yield to the fear within the chaos. I am searching everywhere, searching for Nora, trying to find her, trying to get a glimpse of what she was wearing. And eventually we find her, and she had discovered this climbing structure where some eggs had been hidden. And she's sitting on the ground, quiet, out of the way, happily and joyously picking up one egg and putting it in a basket. Here's all these screaming, crying, yelling. And in the center is Nora, picking up one egg, putting it in her basket. One egg, putting it in her basket. In the midst of the chaos, remember Nora, who finds a quiet, solid ground to stand on. May we never yield to the fear of the chaos around us. Easter still happens.